Good morning, everyone. Today we are learning the fourth chapter of Ilchot Yesodei Torah, a wonderful, wonderful journey. There's been already four chapters, and we're doing it together. And I want to congratulate all the participants. I don't know how you guys do it. 11 a.m. You stop everything you're doing and you're learning. I'm going to have a little shout out for a particular individual that just went through a quadruple bypass and sent me a question. This is Tuvia ben Rachel Lea, Yishrav Refuah Shlema. And he asked me, Rabbi, are you going to continue doing these classes at the same time? And I said, why? He says, because I really want to plan my day now that I'm getting back on my feet. I really want to plan my day. So imagine a person that just went last week, quadruple bypass, and what is he thinking about? How I should reorganize my time and make sure I study Torah every day. So today we are in the fourth chapter. You can look at the link for the text. So we spoke last time about the four bodies. The four bodies, the four primary elements which are under the sphere of the moon. And these four elements are fire, wind, which is air, body and air, water, and earth, which are the fundamental elements of all the creations below the sky. ארבע הגופים הללו שהם אש ורוח ומים וארץ הם היסודות יסודות כל הנבראים למטה מן הרקיע. These are the fundamental elements of all the creations which are that exist under the sky. Everything that exists, all that exists, whether it's man, animal, fowl, crawling creatures, fish, flora, metals, precious stones, gems, and other building stones, mountains, and clods of earth. The elemental matter of all these is composed of these four elements. Everything is composed of these four elements. Let's read the text in Hebrew. וכל שיהיה מאדם ובהמה ועוף ורמז ודג וצמח ומתכת ואבנים טובות מרגליות שאר אבני בניין והרים וגושי עפר הכל גלמן מחובר מארבע יסודות אלו. So really there are the four primary elements, but then you have the concept of that every element down in this earth is actually made of these four elements. נמצאו, it follows, כל הגופים שלמטה מן הרקיע, anything that is below the first גלגל, the first the heaven, חוץ מארבע יסודות האלו, except for the four elements, מחוברים, מגולם וצורה. These four elements are composed of matter and form. Anything that the four elements are not composed of matter and form. The way they are in their state under the galgal, under the sphere of the moon. But down here, everything is composed of matter and form. וגולם שלהם מחובר מארבע יסודות אלו. And everything that's here is actually composed of the four elements. Everything. There's no matter which is completely simple. Everything is complex. מחוברים מגולם וצורה, וצורה שלהם מחובר מארבע יסודות אלו, אבל כל אחד מארבע יסודות אינו מחובר אלא מגולם וצורה בלבד. These four elements themselves, though, are not composites, except in that they are composed of matter and form. They're matter and form, but they're not composed themselves. They're not a complex matter that's made of many things. Halacha bet. This is very important. So you have the four elements which are matter and form, but in that very special matter that we explained yesterday's class, you could check that out. And then there is a way that these four fundamental elements interact and how they are the formation of everything. It doesn't matter what it is, what realm it is, everything has the four elements inside, which is plasma, gas, the element of air, and the element of solid, of water and water and liquid. Every element. Derech ha'esh v'haruach. Now we're looking at the nature of each one of these four elements. The tendency of fire and wind להיות מהלכן ממטה מטבור הארץ למעלה כלפי הרקיע. The way of the fire and the wind is that they are drawn from the earth's surface upwards towards the sky. ודרך המים והארץ להיות מהלכן מתחת לרקיע למטה לאמצע. While the tendency of water and earth is that they are drawn from beneath the sky downwards to the centers of the skies. שאמצע הרקיע הוא המטה שאין למטה ממנו, because the bottom of the skies is what this is, the lowest point of the skies, is the ultimate bottom from which there's no further down. Then ilukhan bedatan velo bechovtzan. These tendencies are not conscious or willful, but rather it's a characteristic that is instilled in them, and the nature is imbued in them by Hashem. That's the way Hashem made them naturally. Just like we see in the body itself. The body, for example, there's a certain train, there's a certain way that the cells reproduce themselves and they operate. There's certain natures that Hashem put in the world and in these four elements. And they don't do it by themselves. Now, it's true that at the beginning of creation, water, which, as we said yesterday, is lighter than earth, was covering the whole earth. But afterwards, Hashem made in the creation that he should be able to control that the water and the earth, sometimes the earth is going to be higher, sometimes the water is going to be higher, but naturally speaking, the water is higher than the earth. Teva ha'esh, the nature of fire, ham ve'yavesh, it is hot and dry. Ve'u kal mikulan, it's the lightest element. V'aruach ham lach, and wind, air, is hot and damp. Ve'hamayim karim melachim, and water is cold and it is damp. Ve'aretz yevesha kara, and earth is dry and cold. Ve'ikveda mikulan, and it is the element which is the heaviest of all the elements. That's why it's on top of the earth, as we just said. And the air is lighter than the water, and that's why it's on top of the water. And the element of fire, right, is lighter than wind. And since they are the elements of all bodies under the sky, therefore every single body of man, animal, beast, fowl, fish, flora, metal, and stone, then what happens? Golman, their matter, their matter is composed of fire, wind, water, and earth. They all mix together. And each one, you understand that when something is composed, it loses a little of its nature, and now everything is going to have another type of nature. I'm going to give you an example, a simple example. Even when you have a ring, and the ring is not only green stones, but it has green, blue, and yellow stones. The whole ring, by the synergy of the colors, is going to take another type of appearance. The yellow will not be a yellow by itself. It's going to be a yellow that's surrounded by green and blue. The same thing. What happens is when you mix elements together, each element loses a little of its nature to contribute to the common purpose of what it's serving, which here is to make a stone or to make a flower or to an animal or whatever it is. Yeah. So at the moment that it's combined together, they're not similar as when they're pure. ואין במעורב מהן אפילו חלק אחד שהוא אש בפני עצמו, או רוח בפני עצמה, או מים בפני עצמן, או ארץ בפני עצמה, אלא הכל נשתנו ונעשו גוף אחד. The combined product does not contain even one part that is fire alone, or wind alone, or water, or earth alone. Rather, they all have metamorphosed and become one body. וכל גוף וגוף המחובר מארבעתן, יימצא בו קור וחום. So now that the Rambam has established the nature of the earth is to be, remember, what did we say? To be dry and cold. The nature of fire is to be light and hot. So what's going to happen is that now that everybody has the four elements inside of it, so automatically the different elements are going to appear in a different way. Which means that the balance of the different elements is going to act in that one creation that is composed by them in a different way. Let's see what the Rambam says. He says, "V'chol guf ha'mechubar me'ahavata yimatzeh bo kor v'chom, lach ve'yovesh ke'echad." In every body that's composed, you'll find the four elements of cold, heat, damp, and dryness together, as one. Aval yesh men gufim sheyeh bahem choskam yesod ha'esh. Some bodies, for example, which the element of fire is going to dominate. K'mo ba'alei nefesh chaya, for example, the animals. Lefichar yira'eh bahem ha'chom yater. That's why they're very warm, very hot. V'yesh men gufim sheyeh bahem choskam yesod ha'aretz. And some are just going to be the element of earth is going to dominate, כמו avanim, like stones. לפיכך יראה בהם היובש בהרבה. That's why you're going to have more the element of dryness. ועל הדרך הזה יימצא גוף חם יותר מגוף אחר חם, וגוף יבש יותר מגוף אחר יבש. And along these lines, one hot body will exhibit a higher level of heat than the other one. וכן יימצא גופים שאירע בהם הקור בלבד. And some creations, some things are just, we're just going to feel the coldness only and nothing else. וגופים יראה בהם הלח בלבד. And some you're going to feel more the dampness. וגופים יראה בהם הקור והיובש כאחד בשווה. And some you'll feel the cold and the dryness exactly equal. או הקור והלח כאחד בשווה. Or the dampness and the cold as one. או החום והיובש כאחד בשווה, or the heat and the dryness as one, או החום והלח, or the heat and the dampness כאחד בשווה as one. לפי רוב היסוד שהיה בעיקר התערובת. So really this is going to depend on what is the main, the principal foundation that is forming this element. For example, we said in a stone, it's going to be mostly earth. Therefore, it's going to be mostly dry. You understand? So every element carries its balance of warmth or dampness, etc. It's going to be interesting. I'll tell you in a second something very interesting. So accordingly, they have a greater concentration, and the element is going to be expressing its self according to the main element that's in it. I know a therapist that does actually this work with people that have a more, in general, men, even though we come from the earth, right? The element that's more predominant in man is the heat that's inside. It's the element of fire. So sometimes there's a disproportion within the body of man. So the whole balance of man between the element of water, air, heat, and earth is imbalanced. So I know a therapist that what she does, she actually is able to measure, I don't know what the measuring tools are, the different imbalances. And once she brings a person to a state where they're going to be more balanced, which means that the elements are going to be given more space to express themselves, then a person is going to feel more calm. So it's very interesting. Every entity, every entity which is a combination of these four fundamental elements will ultimately decompose. What does it mean, decompose? Which means if you're made of one of these elements will go back to their source. Some will decompose after a mere few days, and others will decompose after many years, right? יש שהוא נפרד לאחר ימים אחדים, ויש שהוא נפרד לאחר שנים רבות. וכל שנתחבר מהם, אי אפשר שלא ייפרד להם. Anything that is a combination of the elements, eventually is going to decompose. אפילו הזהב, listen to this, even gold, right, through oxidation, it happens. והאודם, and rubies, right, do not decompose and return to their fundamental element, right? Even, it's impossible. It's impossible even for gold and ruby not to decompose. Now you say gold, right? What do you mean? We never see it decompose, but it's decomposing slowly, very, very, very slowly, but it's decomposing. And then it goes back to its the fundamental elements. A portion becoming fire, a portion becoming water, a portion becoming wind, air, and a portion becoming earth. Right? וישוב מקצתו. אי אפשר שלא ייפסד ויחזור ליסודותיו, וישוב מקצתו לאש, ומקצתו למים, ומקצתו לרוח, ומקצתו לארץ. הואיל וכל הנפסע ייפרד ליסודות אלו, למה נאמר לאדם ולעפר תשוב? So now the big question is, I don't understand. There is a verse. The verse says, man comes from the earth and will go back to the earth. If that's the case, why does it say man comes from the wind and he comes from the water and he comes from this? Why? Says the Rambam, because the major part of man's composition comes from the earth. So I had to mention, this is one of the logical proofs you can give somebody that doesn't believe in God. Why? Because there is something that's holding the four elements together. If each one of the four elements has a different nature, so how is it possible that four elements are able to stay in one body if they have four different natures? If something's going up and something's going down, how do they stay sticking together? We must say that there's a fifth element which is not of the nature of these four elements. If not, there would be a fifth element and make the equation more complex. There's a fifth element which holds everything together, and that's a type of spirit, right? Godly power that brings it together. And the proof is that after a person dies and that spirit is gone, and that vitality, which is a godly vitality, I'm not calling it a soul, is actually holding everything together. The moment it doesn't hold it together, everything goes back to its source. But says the Rambam, everything, every entity that decomposes will not return to the four fundamental elements immediately. It's a whole process that happens. Rather, it will decompose and change into another entity. Right? And this will change into another entity, which will change into another entity, till it's going to go back to their original source. הלכה 5, הארבעה יסודות אלו משתנים זה לזה תמיד בכל יום, כל שעה, מקצתם לא כל גופם. These four fundamental elements are in a constant state of flux, with a certain portion, but never the entire matter of one changing into another every day, every hour, which means a little. What does that imply? Let's see what the Rambam says. Ketzad, miktzat haaretz hakrova min hamayim, the earth which is close to the water, mishtanit umitporeret v'naset mayim, is actually going to dissolve and become water. Similarly, מקצת המים סמוכים לרוח, משתנים מתמסין, והובין רוח. The same thing, a portion of the water which is close to the wind will evaporate and become wind. וכן הרוח. And so too, wind, air, מקצתו הסמוך לאש, the one which is closer to the fire, משתנה ומתחולל ונעשה אש, will transform itself into fire. And so too fire, וכן האש, מקצתה סמוך לרוח, מתחולל משתנים, מתכנס ונעשה רוח. Fire becomes actually a little air. וכן הרוח, מקצתו סמוך למים, משתנים, מתכנס ונעשה מים. And the water itself, which is damp and cold, it will damp and dry, will eventually, not that damp and dry.
The wind becomes water.
I'm sorry, the wind the wind will become itself a little, transform itself into water. Right? וכן המים מקצתו סמוך לעץ משתנה ומתכנס ונעשה ארץ. And the same thing with water that's going to become a little earth itself. ושינוי זה מעט מעט ולפי אורך הימים. This happens very slowly and over time. ואין כל היסוד משתנה עד שיעשה הכל מים, כל המים רוח או הרוח אש, שאי אפשר שיבטל אחד מן היסודות הארבע. The entire fundamental element will never change. For example, all the water will never become wind, nor all the wind will become fire, because it is impossible for the existence of one of the four fundamental elements to be nullified. Rather, אלא, מקצת ישתנה מאש לרוח, ומקצת ישתנה מרוח לאש. A portion of a fire will change into wind, and a portion of wind into fire. וכן בין כל אחד וחברו יימצא השינוי בין ארבעתם וחוזרות חלילה לעולם. And similarly, between each pair of these four, change will go on in an unceasing recurring cycle. So here we see, it's very interesting because the Rebbe mentions that in this we see the unity of creation, that there's nothing which is actually stuck and stiff. Maybe we could learn from this that we need to be able to make some space for the other and sometimes transform ourselves, right, and understand more the other. Halacha Vav 6. ושינוי זה יהיה בסביבת הגלגל. So now you're going to ask the big question, how is that possible that there's actually a change from one to the other, even slightly? This is caused by the revolution of the spheres, as we explained yesterday. I was thinking about it yesterday. I want to tell you, I'm sitting down and I'm thinking about everything we learned yesterday about the spheres, the distance, and while things are turning from west to east, we're turning at the same time from east to west. And within that, there's orbits. And within that, right, we are such a small nothing. And it's happening right now as we speak. It's extraordinary. And then you realize how small you are. It's like, wow. But as this is happening, this is having an effect on Earth as well. And that's what he says, the Rambam says, it's because by the revolution of the sphere. It's revolution, ומסביבתו התחברו ארבעתם ביה, מעין שאר גולמי בני אדם בנפש חיה, צמר ואבן ומתכת. From this revolution, right, that causes the four fundamental elements to combine and thus forms the matter of men, living beasts, plants, stones, and metals. והאל נותן לכל גולם וגולם צורה ראויה. And God gives each body the form appropriate to it through the angels of the 10th level. If you remember, we studied that there are angels, the 10th levels of angels, right, in the chapter 2 of Yesodei Torah. And the 10th level, which is the closest to man, to human form, right, which is an angel, right, this is the agent of God to actually bring about these shapes, right, and the form of everything that's in the world. And they're called, Atzura Nikret Ishim. They're called Ishim. Ishim. It's called Ishim. The Rambam mentioned it because it's the closest to Ish, to a man. Halacha 7. לעולם אין אתה רואה גולם בלא צורה או צורה בלא גולם. We are human, and therefore you'll never see matter without form or form without matter. אלא לב האדם הוא שמחלק גוף הנמצא בדעתו ויודע שהוא מחובר מגולם וצורה. What is it? It's the heart of man. It's our mind that permits us, it gives us the knowledge to consider that the bodies that are found and considers the bodies that are found and knows that they are a combination of matter and form, which means we look at a person, we understand that it's not just a dead corpse. It's something which is alive. There's something more to man, right? ויודע שם, and שיש שם גופים שגלמם מחובר מארבע יסודות. And it appreciates that there are bodies whose matter is a combination of the four elements, four fundamental elements. וגופים שגלמם פשוט ואינו מחובר רק מגולם אחד. And it's able to appreciate the fact that there's some things that whose matter is simple and does not contain only one type of matter. That surot she'ein lahem golam. And now he's going to say something very interesting. He says that the forms which have no matter cannot be seen by the eye of man, by the eye of man. Only with the eye of the mind are you able, the eye of the heart, called it. The eye of the mind, many times when it says the heart, it means the mind. Mind of the heart, you're able to grasp it. Just like we know that there's a master of the universe without seeing him. We feel his presence. We feel that somebody's running the show here. We feel there's a master of the universe, right? So this is not something that we see. It's something that's inside of us that permits us to grasp the elements that that don't have matter, right? They have forms that don't have matter. So now that the Rambam has explained all of these levels of matter, we're going to see what really matters, right? One day I was at a table on Shabbat in Crown Heights, and this 8-year-old boy was asked to say a Dvar Torah, to say a word of Torah. So he says, you have to bring mind over matter. I looked at this kid, I said, 8 years old. Wow, nice. Yes, I don't mind, and you don't matter. Anyways, so now the Rambam is going to go what is above matter. Nefesh kol basar hi tzurato shenatan lo ha'el. The soul of all flesh is the form which was given by God. Ve'adat ha'yetera mitzuya benafsho shel adam. There is something in it which is an extra dimension, which is found in the soul of man, is the form of man which is perfect in its knowledge. Hi tzurat ha'adam hashalem beda'ato. Which means what is considered the wholeness of man? His concept of da'at. The fact that he has da'at. Once you have da'at, if you don't have da'at, right, you don't have the additional intellect, you're not a complete person. Continues the Rambam. And concerning this form, the Torah states, Ne'emar b'Torah, Na'aseh Adam betzalmenu kidmutenu. Let us make man in our image and in our likeness. Right? Klomar, שתהיה לו צורה יודעת ומשגת הדעות שאין להם גולם. Which means granting man a form which knows and comprehends ideas that are abstract. This is only man can do such a thing. כמו המלאכים שהם צורה בלא גולם, עד שידמה להם, just like the angels who are a form without body, until he can resemble these angels. ואינו אומר על צורה זו, הנקראת לעין שהיא הפה והחותם והלסתות, ושאר רושם הגוף, שזו תואר שמה. So now let's not make a mistake. When we say we are made at God's image to have the knowledge to be able to see what does not have a body, which means to see the abstract, to grasp the abstract. So it doesn't refer to the forms of the body, the fact that we have eyes, so God has eyes. No, absolutely not. Or a mouth or a nose. That's not what it means. ואין הנפש המצויה לכל נפש חיה שבה הוא אוכל ושותה ומוליד ומרגיש ומערה, אלא הדעה שהיא צורת הנפש, ובצורת הנפש הכתוב מדבר בצלמנו קדמותנו. It is not the soul found in all living flesh, the animals, right, that eat and drink and reproduce and feel and think. Rather, this knowledge is the form of this dimension of the soul on which it says, in our image, in our likeness. We have this capacity to grasp what no other creature in the world is able to grasp. That's what it means that we're made in God's image. ופעמים רבות תיקרא זאת הצורה, and many times this form is referred to, remember these words, נפש או רוח. ולפיכך צריך להיזהר בשמותם שלא יטעה אדם בהן וכל שם ושם ילמד מעניינו. And a person should therefore be careful not to err regarding them, because each name reveals its characteristics. אין הצורה על החטאת, אין הצורה הזאת מחוברת מן היסודות כדי שתתפרד להם. So now we spoke about the 4 elements which form the body. what happens with this soul, which gives us the capacity, the cognitive capacity to be able to see what's abstract, etc., and grasp things that other creations cannot grasp. This is not something that is made of any of the four elements, says the Rambam. Right? And צורת הנפש הזו מחוברת מן היסודות כדי שתיפרד להם. The form of this soul is not a combination of the fundamental elements into which it will ultimately decompose, which is very important. ואינה מכוח הנשמה שצריכה לנשמה, כמו שהנשמה צריכה לגוף, אלא מאת השם מן השמיים היא. What does that mean? He says that at the same thing, therefore, he says, and it does not come from the neshama so that it will require the neshama as the neshama requires the body. Which means what happens is you have the body in order to be able, it's really a dead corpse. You have a soul, and God puts the soul inside the body and gives the body the capacity to be a living being and to have that cognitive power. But since it's not an element, right, in order to express itself, the soul needs the body. The body needs the soul in order to live. The same way that this soul was alive before the body existed, when the body goes, the soul is still alive. That's what the Rambam is saying. לפיכך, כשיפרד, right? אלא, rather it is from God, it's from heaven. This soul is from heaven. Like the Alter Rebbe says in chapter 2 in Tanya. לפיכך, כשיפרד הגולם שהוא מחובר מן היסודות לטובת הנשמה, מפני שאינה מצויה עליהם גוף, צריכה לגוף בכל מעשיה, לא תיקרא את הצורה הזאת, לפי שאינה צריכה לנשמה במעשיה, אלא יודעת ומשגת הדעות פרודות מן הגלומים, ויודעת בורא הכל, ועומדת לעולם ולעולמים. And that's what he's saying, basically. That this soul, which comes from God, has always been living and will live forever. Therefore, it will continue to live forever. And that's what Shlomo HaMelech says. הוא שאמר שלמה בחוכמתו וישוב העפר על הארץ כשהיה והרוח תשוב אל האלוקים אשר נתנה. The dust will return to the earth as it originally was, and the ruach, the spirit, which is the godly soul, will return to God who granted it. Now the Rambam is going to tell us everything that we learned. כל הדברים האלו שדיברנו בעניין זה כמר מדי הם ודברים עמוקים הם, אבל אין להם כעניין עומק פרק ראשון ושני. So we learned these last two chapters, chapter 3 and 4, which is yesterday and today. This is really, all these concepts that we explain in this concept are like a drop into the bucket, in the bucket. They're deep matters, nevertheless. Their depth does not approach the depth of the subject matter of the first and second chapters. The explanation of all the subject matter in the third and fourth chapters referred as Maaseh Bereshit. What are we learning right now? Maaseh Bereshit, the creation. Concerning this, our sages of the early generation said, it's not something that you should expound in public. You rather, one by one, individuals should be informed about them and taught them. So now you're going to ask the question. We learned about Maaseh Merkava, which is the secret of the chariot, which means the supernal Kabbalistic concepts of that we explain, and the Maaseh Bereshit, which is a subject matter of creation. So he says, מעשה מרכבה אפילו לאחד אין דורשין בו אלא אם כן היה חכם ומבין מדעתו ומוסכין לו ראשי פרקים. The subject matter of מעשה מרכבה should never be expounded even to a single person unless he is wise and is capable of understanding by himself. Then you give him the fundamental points. And by the way, what we learned in the two first chapters is only a few pointers. It's nothing compared to what it was. And the Rambam himself said what we learned is a drop in the sea. Here, what we're learning is a drop in the bucket. ועניין מעשה בראשית, and this concept, in contrast, the subject matter of מעשה בראשית, מלמדין אותו ליחיד, אף על פי שאינו מבין אותו מדעתו. But with מעשה בראשית, when it comes to the secret of creation, this we can teach a person even if he doesn't understand it by himself. ומודיעים אותו כל מה שיכול לדעת מדברים אלו, whatever he needs, and he can grasp, we tell him. ולמה אין מלמדים אותו לרבים? Why don't we teach this as well to, in a public way, publicly? לפי שאין כל אדם יש לו דעת רחבה להשיג פירוש וביאור הדברים על בוריין, because a person not every person has the knowledge to be able to comprehend and grasp things in the right way. Halacha Yud Bet, Halacha 12. And this is the conclusion, it's going to be really the conclusion of this chapter and everything we learned till now. בזמן שאדם מתבונן בדברים האלו, הוא מכיר כל הברואים ממלאך וגלגל ואדם וכיוצא בו. When a person meditates on these matters and recognizes all the creations, the angels, the spheres, man, and the like, and appreciates the wisdom of Hashem, right? ויראה חוכמתו של הקדוש ברוך הוא בכל היצורים וכל הברואים, in all the forms and creations, it's going to happen. You start understanding what goes into the whole creation, every detail. Right? It's mind-boggling. Mosif ahava lamakom. At this moment, this adds a love for Hashem. V'tisma nafsho v'yichma besaro le'ohov hamakom baruch hu. His soul will thirst and his flesh will long for the love of God. Baruch hu, blessed be He. And at the same time, a person is going to realize how small he is. A person will stand in awe and fear from his humble, lowly, vedaluto, and poor little self. Vekaluto. Right? When he compares himself to this, this is the point of comparison that a Jew has to think about, you know. וכל שכן לאחד מהצורות התורה נפרד מן הגלומים שלא נבראו בגולם כלל, וימצא עצמו שהוא כלי מלא בושה, ככלי מלא בושה, כלי מה ריק וחסר. How much more so when he compares himself to the pure forms, which are separate from matter and do not share any connection with it. He's going to see himself as a vessel full of embarrassment and shame, empty and lacking. We would say, why should we feel like that? Yes, we should feel humble. We should understand that we are not, we're completely dependent on Hashem. When we realize, at the same time, you realize how small you are, but you realize to whom you're connected. And once you realize to whom you're connected, your whole vision of the world is different. And as I always say, then instead of saying to God how big your problems are, you're going to say to your problems how big God is, and then your problems are no problems. Final halacha. והלכה 13, י"ג. וענייני 4 פרקים אלו שבחמש מצוות האלו הם שחכמים הראשונים קוראים אותו פרדס. This, which we learned in the first 4 chapters, are called the orchard. כמו שאמרו, 4 נכנסו לפרדס, 4 entered the orchard. We're talking about the secrets of Torah, and there was Rabbi Akiva, Ben Azai, Ben Zoma, and Elisha Ben Abuya. Only 1 was able to go in and come back safe and sound. ואף על פי שגדולי ישראל היו, even though they were giants, וחכמים גדולים היו, and they were great sages, לא כולם היה בהם כוח לדע ולהשיג כל הדברים על בוריים. Not everybody was able to comprehend and grasp these matters to their totality. ואני אומר, says the Rambam, I say, שאין ראוי לטייל בפרדס. It's not proper for a person to stroll in that orchard of secrets. אלא מי שנתמלא כרסו לחם ובשר. First, somebody that ate bread and meat. What does that mean, practically speaking? Is that first of all, a person has to know all the mitzvot of the Torah. And once he is well established and well grounded, then he could start ascending to higher levels. ואף על פי שדברים אלו דברים קטן, even though it's true that our sages teach us that these are small matters, our sages, a great matter say, our sages say, the great matter is Maaseh Merkava, the secrets of Torah. Small matters is the debates between Abaye and Rava, which are in the Talmud. Nevertheless, says the Rambam, קראו אותם חכמים, שהרי אמרו חכמים, דבר גדול מעשה מרכבה, דבר קטן הוויות אביי ורבה, אף על פי כן ראויים הם להקדימן שאין מיישבים דעתו של אדם תחילה. Because since it brings a person to settle a person's mind, that's why it's proper to do it. Even though studying the secrets of Torah at the highest level is much higher. ועוד שמהטובה הגדולה שהשפיע הקדוש ברוך הוא ליישוב העולם הזה כדי לכל חיי העולם הבא. And this is something beautiful. Halacha, Jewish law, is the great kindness that God gave the world in order to bring stability to the world. Without Torah, you don't have stability. ואפשר שידע הכל קטן וגדול איש ואישה בעל לב רחב ובעל לב קצר, and therefore anybody, anyone, can know in their totality whether a person is great, small, a man, a woman. Everybody can have all of the knowledge. And that is something which is extraordinary. Really, really extraordinary that we have the capacity to be able to connect to the whole Torah, and that's what we're doing, Kol HaTorah Kula. So please, I want to encourage everybody to please publicize the classes, and let's try to get as many, really create the daily Rambam community around the world. And like this, as we unite all of the world around the Rambam to have the whole Torah, Hashem will give us, B'ezrat Hashem, a better world for us and blessings for all of us. If you want to sponsor the class, it is available for sponsorship. You can contact me directly on my WhatsApp at 786-325-2329 or B'ezrat Hashem, and we will definitely appreciate your sponsorship. We're doing a very, very big project. We're working with our technicians and engineers to make it more palpable and more relatable. B'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach. Have a fantastic day, and God bless you all. Thank you.